Welcome to the Moments That Matter podcast. I am your host, Laura Escamilla.
And I am your co-host, Isaac Escamilla.
Today we have a new friend, Devlin Flanary. He is from the University of Houston, Victoria. He is from the recruitment office, new student experience. Welcome, Devlin.
Thank you very
Welcome,
much. Thank you for having
welcome.
me on the show.
I know this is your first podcast, so we're just going to have a conversation. And if you'll tell me a little bit about your role at the University of Houston, Victoria, and whatever you'd like to tell us about what you're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So my title at UHV is Manager of Regional Recruitment. So part of my responsibility is overseeing our remote recruiters, admissions counselors that are located in various areas throughout the state of Texas. I help to oversee scheduling and managing campus recruitment events, like our JAG Day events, Super Saturday events, anything that helps bring students to our campus. I help out with campus tours sometimes, and then I also help out with college transfer students that are wanting to transfer from another university to UHV. I oversee their process coming over.
Oh, good to know.
Great.
Good.
And the campus tours are the most fun.
They are the most fun. I like those ones because you get to be a little bit more animated.
Yeah, for sure. And then look at this beautiful building.
And you have
study here.
physical evidence of what is happening.
Exactly. Feel a little bit like Vanna White walking around.
Yeah.
Like, look,
Yeah, for
this
sure.
one's brand new. Check it out. Yeah.
So I know.
Which we do have something brand new on campus.
Every tour, every time, always has one building that's
Yeah.
just, this is our new showcase.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
So I contacted you as part of the college fairs that I've been doing through my work through Star Scholarship Fund. And I know it's really difficult. It must be to sit at a table and just have a brochure and kind of give kids that experience, which is one of the reasons I invited you on to talk to me about your campus and the experience there and what you offer. Because again, I know standing at a table, just one-on-one, you have an onslaught of students just coming at you and you hand a brochure. It's hard to just elaborate with every single student. So hopefully this will provide our audience and something you can share also with anybody to talk a little bit about the university. So if you'll give me a little bit of what makes U of H Victoria unique.
No problem. And it is fun sometimes getting to these fairs. It does sometimes get a little bit repetitive when you're going over the same information, but it's still every now and then you still come across that one student that you mentioned something to them and you see those eyes just brighten up and you're like, yes, now I've got you. I've got something that interests you.
There's a spark.
And it's like, yes, I get that spark going. And it's like, all right, now we're working together.
Yeah, I like that.
And you want them to have a connection for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
What makes UHV pretty unique in the realms of the college atmosphere is one, we have one of the most reasonable admissions requirements that I've known in the state of Texas. Really, it only takes a student anywhere between a 2.0 to a 2.5 to be admitted to our university or being in the top 50% of their class ranking. So very reasonable admissions requirements. Multiple reasons why we've come up with that one. I don't know if you want me to get into that one now again.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we changed this up very recently. These are brand new admissions requirements that we came up with before the beginning of this year. Previous year, it used to be just have a 2.0 GPA and be top 50% of your class rank.
Okay.
You needed both.
You needed both.
Got it.
Either one of those and or SAT, high enough SAT or ACT scores.
Understood.
The handicap that was harming us and holding us bringing back more students was the fact that Victoria, we're in a rural area.
Yes.
A lot of schools around us are rural-sized schools. You'll get senior class sizes of anywhere from maybe 400 students down to 12 students. And especially in a lot of those smaller classes, you get high-achieving students. Like almost everybody is making 2.75, 3.0, 3.5. And so when you have a student that's in a class of 12, and they've got a 3.75 GPA, but they're not in that top 50%. It harms them. It cuts them off right
that
there.
really
And then,
does.
and then they have to go through an appeal process of writing a personal statement, trying to say, I really want to come to UHV. This is why. And it was harming those students. It was holding them back.
We've discussed this on previous episodes too. That happens the other way too, even for higher. If you imagine a student, the class size of 16 and they need to be top 6%, like even if they're a salutatorian, it doesn't matter because out of that, there's no way they're going to reach that. So that's interesting that you all acknowledge that and made that change of not having to have both, but an either or situation. Because I imagine that there's a lot of those students. I was just at Livia yesterday. There's only 40 seniors. That would be only half of them would even make it in there.
Yeah. No, that was correct. One of my visits earlier this week was at San Isidro,
Hmm.
and that's a very small senior
It is
class up
Hmm.
there, like 12 students or
something
less,
like
I
that.
think,
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Very great faces. All of them were very attentive when I was
Hmm.
presenting to
Yeah.
them. But I said, yeah, those previous requirements we had would have barriered a lot of them.
Hmm.
And so we changed that to where now it's 2.5 or top 50% or SAT of 980 or an ACT of 19 gets you in.
All right.
Automatic admission, top 10% also automatic admission as well. And then if they happen to not have any of those, and they could have anywhere between a 2.0 to a 2.49 and have high enough SAT, ACT scores of a 940 or an 18. And then there's just extra
Just
conditional
getting close by.
requirements.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is one where they just have a partnership with their academic advisor just to check in them on a regular basis.
Yes.
But to just meet those 2.5 top 50% or the SAT, ACTs, and we're good.
Yeah.
And
Like
it
it.
has definitely helped us out since we've done that.
That's a great
We're
adjustment.
already seeing higher numbers that are accepted. So
Yeah.
we're very happy about that one. The
That's great.
Another one that makes UHV, I think, a great university is that we are a Hispanic Serving Institute. And we've been one since 2010, which last I recall, I think the only requirement is for the student population to be at least 25%.
Okay.
We are almost 45%
Wow.
of Hispanic students.
Wonderful.
And then it varies beyond that one.
Yeah.
And so we're very happy about that one.
Do you find that most of the students that attend are commuters? Is that growing, or people traveling and staying there on campus and that type of thing? Or what does your student body look like?
We do have a number of students. Last I looked at our counties, our biggest counties that have the most students that come to us is one is Victoria,
Mhm.
another one is Fort Bend, and then
Okay.
we have Harris County, Houston area. We
Yeah.
get a lot of students from the Houston
Mhm.
area that come to our campus.
Yeah.
And so a number of them will either live on campus, live in the dorms, or they will move in with family.
Okay.
And so we give them that option. Like if they wish to live on the campus, we do like to have students that live on the campus their freshman year, and it helps just the transition and everything.
For
I
sure.
agree with that.
But for a lot of students, if they do have family in the area and they do want to save themselves a little bit, they can live with that family so long as okay with making the ride to campus in the morning,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it does help them out. And so we'd like to give them that options as well.
Yeah,
That
we
is really-
had our daughter's friend, our daughter's 26 now, but in high school when they were graduating, her friend was going to go to U of H Victoria because her grandmother lived in Victoria, and she was going to go move in with her grandmother so she could attend school there. So I can see how that happens a lot, that you have family in the area that would make that work,
Yeah.
especially financially for you.
Yeah.
So I was looking through your website and I saw a range of programs: a College of Business, Education, Health Professionals, Liberal Arts and Social Sciences. There's a Natural and Applied Science. Can you talk to me a little bit about those programs and majors and what's really popular for the university and that you're noticing from students, their interest?
Yeah, no problem at all. So the College of Business is one of our best programs. It's nationally ranked, nationally accredited.
Like
It's
that.
in the top 5% of all of them in the US.
Fantastic.
And a lot of our professors themselves have great backgrounds in those areas, either running companies, owning businesses, in management, in marketing, in accounting,
Real world experience.
real world
I love that.
experience that they get to pass on to their students within those classes,
Yeah.
which is great in my opinion.
Yes.
And not a lot of professors sometimes in other universities, they may just come in and they may just lecture and then they just provide the office hours to help out the students.
Sure.
Whereas with our university, another one of our great uniqueness about us is our smaller class sizes. I've averaged less than 20 students to a class.
That's
That's
amazing.
really good.
Yeah.
And that was one of
for
my
a
follow-up
state university.
questions. Like, well, how does that compare? What is bringing the students over from Houston? And it's probably a lot to do with the smaller class sizes. You
Mhm.
get a lot personal attention
Yes.
and professors with real world experience that can really help one-on-one with a lot of these students, because those classes, that is pretty small.
Yeah, absolutely. Provides the students a little bit more one-on-one instruction with the professors. It always makes the students feel good when you've got a professor that, like in high school, the students come in and the teachers know their names. And I know it helps for them to be able to take attendance, but
Truly.
it usually feels good when a student is
Yeah.
known by the teacher.
For sure.
And so in college as well,
Yeah.
that makes a student feel good. It makes them feel welcome. It makes them feel relaxed. And then they also then become a little bit more relaxed in asking questions and participating
More
in class
active.
discussion. They
Right.
become more active. And oftentimes with our professors, many of them will become vested in the student's success to the point that professors will become professional references for them later on as well. They
I
may
certainly
provide
would.
a networking. They may provide them a potential job, or even just being a professional reference that can vouch them to a future employer. So
Yeah,
that
that's
definitely
really
helps out with those smaller class sizes.
Relationships,
That's
good
really important
relationships.
for students to consider when they're looking at future universities, things that they're considering. especially as you mentioned that a lot of the schools that you're visiting are rural, they're smaller class sizes, they're accustomed to that. And if you go throw them into a different state school that their class sizes are 200, 300 students, that can be a huge shock for them to adapt to
Mhm.
that first year. So that really is something that we've talked about before as students are considering universities, that they need to consider that class size also and make note of that as they're keeping track of all the schools, because they may not only be accustomed to smaller class size, but they don't want to just be a number. And that's really
Mhm.
important. I know our kids made that choice too in their university. That was a very big deal in the class sizes because they wanted to know their professors and they wanted them to know, have a
Mhm.
relationship and such. And I think that's really great aspect of the
Yeah,
university.
Yeah.
those class sizes are akin to something like a private university that would cost probably significantly more. Yeah, and not
Yeah.
be available to someone in that area.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And I always pass on my experience to students when I get to talk to them. My background is
Hmm.
from a Big 12 university.
Yeah.
So I had the class size of almost 200 students
Mhm.
in an auditorium style
I've
setting.
been there.
You don't get to know the professor. And oftentimes, if you've got a professor that's very soft spoken,
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're
I've
sitting
been
there,
through that
you're like
too.
leaning in and you're like a middle of the class kind of student, like
Yeah.
I was when I first
Yeah.
started. You're trying to lean in and
Yeah.
listen to it, or you're forced to go down to the front
Yeah.
and be able to hear everything that they're saying.
Agreed.
I love the fact that we don't do auditorium style classes like that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Uh,
So with these programs that you offer, for example, the business one, is that considered when they're enrolling for admissions? Is that the number of business students you have? Does that make it harder for them to get in or into the program specifically? I know some universities, they'll be pre-business for a year or however long they take their required prereqs, and
mhm.
then they become a business student after
Mm.
so many classes. Is that the same setup there at the university, or
No,
they
at our
declare their major from the start?
Yeah, no, at our university, you declare it right from the start. You declare it right in your application. They get the option to choose, especially like in the College of Business, they could choose entrepreneurship. They could choose marketing, management.
Mhm.
If they choose any of the other majors, they could choose criminal justice. They could go straight into psychology. Granted, as a program, there are prereqs that you gotta meet before you get to the higher up classes. But
Right.
yeah, in the very beginning, they can go right into the program as they're also knocking out basics in those requirements too.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's important to consider too for our son, the university he attends. He was a business major, but he was pre-business and he is now in his third year of school. But that was really stressful in that you don't really know if you're in
Hmm.
until you've taken the classes
Hmm.
and you've gotten this specific grade and you've run all the red tape. And then you're like, okay, now you wait for the email. Okay, now you're actually a business major.
Officially.
That's
Yeah.
very
Now
stressful
you
for
got the
the
paper.
Yeah.
that's stressful for a student. And then you're like, okay, now you take all the hard classes. Now you get to the hard part, right?
Now the fun
Yeah.
begins.
Truly.
Yeah. So a
As
very
as
encouraging.
Anakin Skywalker says,
Yes.
now the fun
It's
begins.
true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's a great aspect to the university that they can just feel confident in that whatever they're choosing to study, they're going to be able to do that in the long run. Because, like I said, there's a lot of students. There's what they call weed out classes that and they take, calculus or they take these other business courses, and it's like meant to be difficult to get
Mhm.
rid of students, and then they have to find a new major, and that must be so stressful
Mhm.
for students. And thank goodness that our son made it
Yeah.
through the classes, but the fact that you don't have those obstacles is really important to note.
Definitely. I'm also noticing on the website there is something they refer to as the major exploration. So like if you're not sure what major you
Mhm.
want to pursue, there's advisors that will help steer you in the right direction based on your interests. Do you know a
Mhm.
little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of our options that we give students as well is they can come to us as an undeclared major. And it doesn't have to be an undeclared in business. Some of them do choose that. It doesn't have to be undeclared liberal arts. They can just flat out say undeclared. They don't know what they
Mhm.
want to do. And they are going to be paired with what we call a success coach. And that success coach gets to sit them down and gets to talk to them and gets to know their interests. What's their passions? What are you interested in wanting to do? Where do you see yourself going career wise?
Mhm.
And then they start weeding through it and figure out, okay, you're leaning more towards medical. Have you thought about doing this? And we
Mhm.
also get them involved with our career development center. Those are the people that help them do skills assessments and even help them even more trying to figure out where do your skills lie? Where does it seem like this career would benefit you the most? And then we start talking about majors at that point. And then we give them up to 2 full years that they can be an undeclared major.
Wow.
So this whole time, as they're also knocking out basics, as every degree requires,
Right.
they are exploring other classes. And with the use of their academic success coach and the career development center, they are then figuring themselves out as we are mentoring and guiding them along. And then hopefully by the end of their sophomore year, we've come to a decision. We figured out, yes, I want to become an accountant. I want to go into psychology. I want to open up my own business.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Now we've got a path. Now we switch into that program and we're off to the races and we're getting you finished in 4 years.
That's amazing. That's incredibly
Yeah.
useful.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's really important. I think was last year I spoke at the Business Professionals of America conference that they had for the students in the area. And one of the questions that was asked to me at the very end is like, what do I do if I want to go to college, but I don't know what I want to study?
Mhm.
And usually my response is start at a community college, take your basics,
Mhm.
and find a mentor, look at different professionals in your life that you want to explore. But knowing that a university is welcoming to somebody in a university setting, they don't have to start in a community college, and that they can explore that. It's amazing to know. I hope that's on your brochures, your promotional tools, because that's really important. There's so many students. It's really hard at 18, 17, 18 years old to
Mhm.
know exactly what you want to do. And then the setbacks of changing your major, starting a path and then changing it later, as we know.
So I was about to say, I really, really, truly do wish that I had something like this at the university that I had attended, because I initially started off as a music major because I was in band,
Mhm.
and I was going to be a band director for the rest of my life, and then realized that I didn't want to be a band director after a little while. So I like computers, and 3 or 4 majors later,
Mhm.
and many college hours, which is not something you can do these days with the way financial aid works.
Mm.
But I didn't have a clear path. But if somebody had taken an interest and shown me the different skills and different jobs available, I may even have considered something medical or something completely different from what I'm doing now, only
Mhm.
because I would have been introduced to it. I would have known what it's about, and maybe I would have found something in there that struck a spark or a passion for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I always love getting to tell students as well whenever I go to fairs. And I find these ones that come to me and they say they don't have an idea of what they want to do. Even
Mhm.
as seniors, I've had students up until the spring semester
Yeah.
that they don't know what they want to do.
Yep.
And I tell them, for one, don't be worried about that. It's absolutely okay. Every
Mhm.
university pretty much offers a student to be an undeclared major, so you're okay. But what I also tell them is choose a, and here's another option to think of.
Yeah.
If you're undecided, try and choose a university that is still a quality education and affordable. UHV is one of the top 5 most affordable schools in the state.
Great.
And so I tell students, like, even if we come up with an idea that you want to go into a career field that maybe we don't have a degree in, fantastic. You're getting your basics done. You're getting introductory classes that will still be useful. And as UHV being an accredited university, you'll still be able to transfer those credits to the university that has that degree. And so you're saving yourself money. You're still getting the credits and you can still finish in 4 years.
And
now
still
the
have a
students,
university experience, right?
exactly, get the university experience. And now when they graduate, they have less debt, less potential debt that will go with them with that degree.
Truly.
Which is a huge thing I try and tell the students to always be mindful of. Don't always choose a university just because it's fantastic. It looks great. Everything can look good on paper. Try and look in between the lines, read through the words, go visit the campus, go get a
Right.
feel for it. Do everything to where you finally come to a decision where you're like, this is comfortable. This is what I want to do. And even if this path takes me here and then I have to divert to another university, another campus, I am setting myself up for success later
Yes.
on, and my future self will thank me for this.
Definitely. And it makes, I would feel as a student nurtured. They took an interest in me. The class sizes are small. They care about my future. I'm still getting my credits. I'm on a path, and it's time well spent.
Mhm.
All of that time there. Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So that's really important information. And especially with our community that you're coming to the Rio Grande Valley and getting information out, as many students in this area are first generation college students and don't have that kind of guidance at home on what to do. Are you picking a university because everybody else is picking this university? Are you picking it because they have a great football team? We always talk about the important things you need to look at when
Right.
you're picking a university.
Mm.
Do you
Yeah,
offer
don't like it just because it
Yeah.
has a Big
Yeah.
12 football.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's one of the things that I always tell students when you're writing your essays for college admissions and those things. Do not say that you love their football team.
Mhm.
You need to find something about the university that you love and you connect with. So
Right.
I think that's really important.
Mm.
And Is there something that you do or that you all acknowledge making it easier for first generation students and guiding them through that? It sounds like if they are unsure of their major, they're unsure of those things, you're providing that guidance. But what about the other part, the part that they don't even know where to start to apply for financial aid and those kind of things? Is that something that you all look at first generation students?
Absolutely. UHV, we
Mm.
have over 65% of our student population is first gen students.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
And so the very first person that helps them out is our admissions counselors,
Great.
which are pretty much all first generation, myself included. So right off the bat, we're already providing that connection to them from a perspective that's been there before and
Absolutely.
helping to guide them out, not just through the application process, but we get to talk to them about financial aid. We get to let them know that, hey, we've got well over 100 different scholarships, institutional scholarships, and at least about 30 of them, I believe, are first generation type of scholarships
That's
that
amazing.
can help students out.
Incredibly useful.
They give out multiple there is one scholarship doesn't just go to one person. They'll give out multiple variances of the scholarship so multiple people can benefit from it.
Absolutely. That is nice. I
Mhm.
like that.
That's great. Do you have any information on the scholarships? Is there somebody who's looking at fall 2025? Is that something that they apply to these scholarships that you offer through admissions? They're automatically considered for them, or is there a separate application that they have to fill out? Or
Technically, there is a separate application, and it's one of the processes. Once they have applied to UHV and are accepted, in the acceptance email, we'll send them a link for our UHV General Scholarship application.
Okay.
It's the easiest process I've ever known of to apply for all of our scholarships because the student just provides all the
one
information that
set
they
of
have, one
information?
set of information in there, and it syncs all that information to all of our scholarships. Anything that the student is applicable for, boom, it gets added to their financial aid package. And then they get a notice like, hey, boom, this is in your package. This is in your package. This is in your package. Just go to your financial aid tab and choose what you want to accept, what you don't, and we're good to go moving from there.
Wow.
So
It's pretty seamless.
hmm
That's incredibly useful.
That's one. I think that's one of the things UHV has definitely tried is streamlining all these
Right.
processes. So it's less hassle, it's less stress.
Sure. And that is a super stressful process at any university, right? You get it
Mhm.
admitted and that's great, but how am I going to pay for it? How do I know that I can match that cost, get to that cost of attendance, I should say? And
Mhm.
that sounds like a really good way to get there.
Absolutely.
and is there, I imagine that the application process is already happening for admissions
Mhm.
right now. What is the deadline for admissions for U of H?
I believe last time I checked the deadlines on admissions, I believe it was August 20th of next year.
Okay,
Yes,
so
August
there's a
20th of next year.
they
Yes.
have a while to consider that. Is there a cutoff for to be considered for these scholarships? Again, we met with a different university last week, and they have a cutoff for entering freshmen, I think December, depending on when they were admitted. Obviously, there's a finite amount of resources. They want to do it as soon as possible, but
Yeah, so there are some of our scholarships that do have deadlines of May 1st.
mhm.
Okay.
JAG Promise for sure and JAG Healthcare, I do believe, have a May 1st deadline. And then they vary from there. And I think the absolute last deadline is August 25th.
Okay.
And that's also a document deadline as well, just so that gives admissions time to put all this into their profile and their account and get it set up. And then we're able to take that information and see what they're eligible for, get the general scholarship application filed, and then we're able to get them set up with their financial aid before classes start.
That's a
That is
very,
the ultimate goal.
very generous window.
Mhm.
I
That's amazing.
agree.
Yeah.
The earliest one is May 1st, and we've got some time from now
Mhm.
till then. That's a good window.
Yes.
Is there anything about any scholarship opportunities for specific majors or programs? Does it break down to that, or is it just a general entering freshman scholarships?
For the general scholarship
Yeah.
application,
Are there
it's basically
considerations
just
for
a general
majors?
one, but there are scholarships within our institution that are based on GPA, first generation, specific majors. We do have some for education, for business, for healthcare and psychology, and a number of others. And some of them are even based dependent on the county that the person comes from.
Okay.
So some of them are provided by a particular fund. But again, that's what that general scholarship is just provide us all the information. We work off of the information we currently have, and then we just see what we have that you're eligible for, and then it just gets added to the financial aid package.
Is it a holistic process? Like you look at the student as a whole, or are you looking for specific criteria as far as their grades? The higher the grade, the more likely they are to get it, their GPA or the higher ranking, any of those things, any tips or tricks we can offer
Oh,
to
well,
students or parents?
yeah, so pretty much all the questions are within the application,
Okay.
and it's pretty much just it's almost like robotic when it gets
Yeah.
sent
Okay.
in is then it's just like check mark, "Oh, okay, don't qualify for this one." And then it just gets into the system and then
So
it's
it's
like,
very
okay,
quantitative based on the
mhm,
information they're
yeah.
entering.
Now,
So
my
it eliminates that process, makes it faster, and then that helps us to quicken the pace that we can see what they're eligible for, and then we get them set up before classes start.
Are transfer students included in these scholarships? Are there
Mhm.
scholarships available for transfers as well?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we have an automatic transfer scholarship for any student that comes to UHV, $500 right off the bat.
Wow.
Really just showing that they're a
Okay,
transfer student. And then there's also a high achieving transfer scholarship as well. I believe there's a 3.5 GPA on that one.
okay,
And then that one's a $1,000 scholarship.
great,
And but even all of our transfer students, once they're accepted, we send them a general scholarship application link as well,
great.
and we just go straight from there.
Very useful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've talked about admissions to U of H Victoria, and we've talked about scholarships. Can you talk to me a little bit about campus life and what that's like? You touched on the classroom, but what about the campus, dining halls, first year experience for the
Mhm.
students and the community as a whole? Like you mentioned, it's a rural community. What does the university and community offer to students?
Okay. No. So the university itself is roughly about 4,000 students in total.
Okay.
Uh, and that even includes our online students as well.
Okay.
And so the campus is quite small. And I will definitely say this is small in comparison to like Big 12 universities
No.
from my background where I went to. It is a fraction of the size
Right.
of the campus I went to. So
But that
it
can offer
doesn't,
a very comforting community to
mhm.
students too, if that's what they're looking
Yeah,
for.
because it doesn't take them very long to get across campus.
Okay.
You're very likely to run into your classmates, your friends that you've made on campus, your professors, much quicker access to the services of the Student Success Center, the Career Development Center, our makerspace, library and its resources. The furthest thing I would say we have from campus would be our UHV Athletics office and the Small Business Development Center, but it's like a couple streets up
It's
and
not
a little
A
bit
bad.
few
over,
blocks.
so not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then mostly that one is most of the students that probably only go to that one may be some of our kinesiology students because we have one of our state-of-the-art training labs over there that they
Okay.
get to use as part of their education.
Very
But
nice.
most of the students are located on the main campus area.
Okay.
And it's a very diverse campus. As I mentioned, almost 45% Hispanic, and then it varies from there. We have I believe we have about 40 international countries represented in our student population as
That's awesome.
well. A lot of students from UK and Sweden and Norway and Mexico and South America, even Taiwan and Sri Lanka and
Wow.
India.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
it has for a small university, we have a great international presence. I love it.
Very nice. Very nice. So it sounds like everything's very accessible. So if I'm a freshman and I don't have a car or a driver's license, as many young students I'm noticing these days don't have, if I live nearby, everything's pretty accessible to me in walking distance, correct?
Yeah. For the main campus,
Yes, for the main campus.
yeah. Uh, the next closest thing might be a couple of the dorms.
Okay.
They're about a block and a half away.
Not far at
Just
all.
two of our three dorms,
Yeah.
but we provide shuttles for the students that can pick them up from the dorms, take them to the main campus area, and then can pick them up and take them back to the dorms. We even have shuttles that will take them to the local YMCA if they want to go work out, can take them down to HEB if they want to do grocery shopping, to
nice.
Walmart, or even all the way up to the north side of Victoria where they can go to the mall if they want to.
It sounds like a very student centric experience, the
Mhm.
whole endeavor. I like that.
Yeah, and the student involvement office is a huge factor in helping our students acclimate to the campus. They
Campus
come up with
culture.
events weekly, they come up with stuff. And some of it's just fun-based stuff. They'll go see movies, they'll
Yeah.
do on like splatter beat, outdoor activities. Sometimes they'll create camps that they get to go to,
Yeah.
outdoor field trips. Sometimes bring in leadership conferences, workshops. So something that's always student focused and
Yeah.
helping the student feel comfortable on the campus.
Community
That's awesome.
building. I like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
You mentioned that students who are undeclared and you have a lot of advisors, a lot of opportunities for them to figure things out. And just first year students in general, I imagine that you have a lot of student success opportunities as well for them. Their advisors are very hands on. What would help a student get acclimated to the university, but the academic side, not
Mhm.
just the social side, but with classes? You offer success centers, tutoring,
Mhm.
these type of any free opportunities for them to ensure their success while they're there.
Absolutely. That's within our Student Success Center. That's also where the student success coaches are going to be located. So it's easy access to two separate things. They get their early advisor, and in the student success center, they do get free tutoring. They can help out with their writing if they need any help with writing essays. They do have student jobs as well that can help them out if they want to make a little income as well.
Nice.
And the student success center is one of those where they can do tutoring. They do it for the free tutoring and everything. And it is a very student focused on making sure that they are as successful as absolutely can be made. So if the student, as soon as they walk in, they barely have to just sign up and just show up, and
That's great.
somebody will be there in the student success center to be able to help them out with
A
just
lot of
about anything that they
guidance.
need.
Yeah.
And then even beyond the academics as well, as we know, even changing from high school to college, it's a change of environment. It's
Hmm.
a change of pace, change of scenery. And sometimes it brings on that level of anxiety and stress that maybe you just need somebody else to talk to. And we do have a student services suite that does allow our students opportunity to talk to a professional counselor that is able to help guide them, help bring them down to a level where it's okay, we're good
We're
now.
manageable. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Perspective.
mhm. And it's free of charge. It's all covered in the tuition, everything that they attend UHV. And it's nice that it's located in the library as well. So it's a quiet location
Yeah.
as well.
And somewhere they're probably going anyway.
If a student is interested, parents, students want to get more information, do you have a local representative? Is it they look for you at their college fair, or is there an office locally, or how would they communicate with you to get more information?
We unfortunately don't have an office located down here. Did have a representative. We did have an admissions counselor that was based down here. She unfortunately took a job at a local ISD, and we
Mm.
miss her dearly. She did a fantastic job for helping us out down here.
Yeah.
So we're in the process
So where
of
does she
trying to
work? Do
refill
we
that
send her there?
position. I wasn't sure if I was able to
Yeah,
say it or not. But no, but we are in the process of trying to rehire to refill that position for a person that is based down here. So once we do, we will have a local representative that will be located in the Valley for any students that want to meet more one-on-one with an admissions counselor
Great.
to help them out through the process, talk to them about financial aid, help them set up with applying for housing on campus. So as I said, once we get that one done, then we will make the word, we will announce it.
Great.
And then any students applying moving forward will have a person to contact in their
Okay.
nearby hometown.
So for now, is there a website, a phone number, somewhere, an email that they can
Or just
reach
the
out to?
general uhv.edu website? Send them
Yeah,
there?
so they can do that one, or they can even send an email to the center at uhv.edu.
Okay.
And just let us know, hey, I'm a student at such and such school. I'm interested. I would like to know more about this program. Even if they just go to the website, they go to the main website of uhv.edu, there's a request info at the very top of the page.
Perfect.
And they just provide some contact information, let us know what they're interested in, and we will reach out to them usually within 2 days. We will get to them.
Good. That's awesome. I just got an email from work that I was contacting a university about one of our scholarship recipients, and I got it automatic that we will get back to you in 7 to 14 days. I was like, wow, that's 2 weeks to respond to me. Like,
But the initial response
Yeah.
was very fast.
yeah, that automatic email,
Yeah.
I'll say, but 2 days is amazing to get back from somebody in person because, like I said, I was like, I'm trying to get my students money because our student contacted us that their funds were being held. And I was like, 7 to 14 days. Wow,
That
that's
feels like an
crazy.
eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does. And that when you're waiting for money, it does for our students.
Oh, yes. Always when you're waiting for money.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to mention about the university and the experience for prospective students?
There were a couple other things. For one, definitely the JAG Promise, one of our newest scholarship opportunities that helps out students to pay for tuition. It is an income-based first generation or first-time college student scholarship. If their entire household income makes up to or less than $65,000, that promise can kick in and help pay for a majority, if not in some cases, the entirety of their tuition as they attend UHV.
Wow.
Wonderful.
And then another one is the Healthcare Promise. So it's one of our other newest scholarships for anybody that wants to go into a healthcare focused field, which we include psychology and even healthcare administration
Great.
among those options. $6,000 scholarship for that
That's
one
awesome.
can really
Mhm.
help out. And I don't know if I got to mention this one. Did I say UHV was one of the top 5 affordable in the state?
You
Yeah.
can say it as
I
many
did,
times
but
as
you
you
can
want.
say it
I will
again.
say it again. I will
Because
say
it
it
is
again.
important. Yeah.
Roughly a year for a full-time student, full-time classes, even living in the dorms, even having a meal plan, textbooks and fees can be covered in around $20,000 for a year.
Wow,
That's
Very,
amazing.
very
that is
affordable.
affordable.
And we gave out $43 million in financial aid assistance just last year to our students.
So it's like a lot of opportunity available.
It is a lot of opportunity. And we've got pathways to help students out that want to become teachers. We have a JAGS Teach program that gets them in the classes up to about their senior year while they're getting in-field experience and still taking classes at the same time. So they still finish within 4 years. It's like a residency program within the 4-year
That's
program.
amazing.
And they are first year ready as soon as they get into the classroom. And then another one is our JAMP or JMP program for any student that wants to go into the medical school. Um, if they just have a 3.25 GPA overall, and then can maintain that GPA within biology, physics, chemistry classes. They take organic chemistry within the first 2 semesters. Our first time student coming in straight out of high school into the fall, but they successfully pass that program, they're guaranteed a spot in medical school.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that is impressive. Yeah, definitely.
Something that occurred to me about the teaching program, do your students in that program graduate certified already, or they take the certification after they graduate?
They do take the certification. Is put in at the end of the senior year. They do have to take the certification at the end of it, but we have a 95% passing rate on the certification
great.
exams, one of the best in the state.
Really important to note because
Mhm.
I do know we have a friend whose daughter went to another university through their education program, and after she graduated, she still had to go through a certification
Mhm.
A
program
different program.
after the
Mhm.
fact. So that's really important that they're graduating with it ready to go.
Yes.
That's an
Mhm.
important distinction. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I say again, cuts down on that extra time, that extra
Mhm.
money as well.
Because the goal is to graduate from college and go straight into
Ready to
it.
hire.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Right.
like you
Getting them
said.
in the classroom where
Mhm.
they can do
First
their
first
best.
day ready as soon as they walk into that classroom.
Excellent.
Only other thing I would mention is we do have some other events that will be down here as well. We are in partnership with STARN, the South Texas Area Recruiters Network. They're
Okay.
having another set of fairs that will be coming into the Valley area, I believe on the first week of November. I believe it's the 4th to the 7th.
Okay.
So we are planning to be back down here as well again and having
Wonderful.
tables set up at multiple schools during the week.
I will probably see you there.
And then December 7th, we do have a Jaguar Day open house event for anybody that's interested. It's an entirely free event, open to the public. They can bring friends and family along, but it's an opportunity for students and family and friends to come visit the campus if they've never seen us before. We provide a full campus tour. We provide opportunities to speak with financial aid, our international programs office, even all of our professors that oversee our degrees.
What
Great.
day is that again?
That's December 7th.
And that's
It'll
a
be a
Saturday?
Saturday.
A Saturday. And is it something they have to sign up for, or they can just show up? Or
There is a registration
Okay.
link that they can do on, and they'll find it in the UHV calendar. We'll have it on that specific
Perfect.
day, and there's a link that they can go straight to the registration page
Those
and
are
sign up.
great
Those are-
opportunities.
They are.
We've done that with both our kids. Even though our kids went to the same university, each one still did it because
Mhm.
the experience for themselves, what that feels like for them to go through that process. So that's important.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we get to host this on a weekend as well,
Yeah,
because
to make it accessible. Yeah.
easily accessible for everybody. The students don't have to worry about getting an excuse for
Right.
missing
Right.
Even though they
school.
can, parents might need to take off of work. Availability is an issue. So yes, this is fantastic.
Yeah, and it also gives them, even once they're done visiting the campus, if they want to explore Victoria, they want to get an idea of the city that their son or daughter is
Yeah.
thinking about, then they get that opportunity as
Yes,
Go
well.
out.
indeed.
Yeah,
Where
for
is
sure.
my son or daughter going to be living?
Mhm,
Yes.
exactly.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing about your university. It
You're
was
very welcome.
I learned a lot for sure. I know I do have a few scholarship recipients that attend the university every year but never fully informed about it. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this for us.
You're very welcome. I appreciate the invitation. Was
Thank you,
happy to do
Devlin.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this is great. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.